415-2272. And if you would give me a call, we can get on the website together, and I can show you where to find it.
That would be very interesting. I've been reading Club of Rome reports for 45 years, and nothing that Dominion Power does makes any sense to me.
Okay. Well, this is an NRC document, so I have a meeting until 2 o'clock, but if you can call me later on today after 2 o'clock, and then I can take you to the website, and I can show you where all of the NRC information is. I think you will find helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, so have we answered everyone's questions, or are there any other questions for the NRC?
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to thank you for this. I look forward to participating in and listening to more of the workings as they go on.
Okay, I'm sorry, and this was Ms. Stansberry?
Yes, this is Patricia Stansberry, and I just wanted to express my appreciation and hope that we can keep an open dialogue and learn more and keep this moving so that the public does become more involved in the process, maybe earlier in the process even, because this is such an important matter. Thank you much.
Okay, and I have made a note to add your name to our mailing list so that you will continue to get everything that we send out.
Great. Thanks a lot. I'm going to hang up now. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. So if that's all, then Tony, I guess we have completed our call for today.
Hello?
Thank you very much for...
Hello?
I'm sorry?
Hello?
Hello, yes?
This is Erica Gray again. Actually, I had other questions, and so I felt like I was kind of cut off.
All right.
When y'all were talking about what's outside and what's in the region and all this, are we expected here in Virginia to, as it goes for a COLA Unit 3, to take the cost and the risk to build this unit for the sake of other states nearby? And also, I'm very curious that right now at the GA there is a bill, Senate Bill 459, that's actually asking Virginia to pay in advance for Unit 3. So I'm a little concerned here, too, with the gas, because I have friends in Caroline County that are saying that people are starting to consider leasing their land for fracking. So are we going to be fracking around North Anna as well, as we are starting to see that it also causes earthquakes? So actually that's 3 questions.
Erica, this is Andy Kugler. I've got to say most of what you're asking there is outside the scope of this call. What I can tell you, in terms of one of the concerns you expressed was, are you going to be putting the bill for this plant and then they'll be sending the power somewhere else? What I can tell you right now is that the state of Virginia imports over a third of its electricity from other states, well in excess of the output of this plant. So even if this plant is built, the state would still be a net importer of power by a significant margin. So I can't tell you where the electricity from a single plant goes, but what I will tell you is that the state will still be importing power even after this plant is built. As for issues on fracking and things like that, that's beyond the scope of our work.
Well, then I don't understand why we're going to spend billions of dollars on a new plant if it's not going to even supply enough energy for our state.
Well, if you don't build anything, the situation will continue to get worse because...
No, I'm talking about another nuclear power plant on a fault line. I mean, the risk involved and the cost involved, and you're saying that even if we built North Anna Unit 3, we still would not have enough power.
Well, there's other things that are going to have to be built, and some of them may be built in the state, and some may be built outside the state, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is your state needs power. And this is one way to meet part of that need. There isn't anything that anybody can build that's big enough by itself to meet all of the need.
Well, maybe we need to have more of a a power grid that's kind of I'm looking for the word I'm looking for, that's not so concentrated, so centrally located. Like I said, I think that this meeting, in the way that it was presented, on the agenda, was very confusing. But frankly, it's the NRC and Dominion needs to be a lot more open about what energy policy, what energy needs, and also how we want to get this energy. But yeah, it's most of the time these meetings are very difficult to follow.
Well, Erica, I am going to take that that comment, and I appreciate that, about making sure that I do a better job on the meeting agenda and the meeting description to be more specific about exactly what we're talking about. So I do appreciate that comment.
And also, I think it's really quite rude that y'all can go offline to talk and put us on mute. I mean, how is that a public access meeting?
The public portion of the meeting is for any discussions between the NRC and Dominion, but staff internal discussions are not.
Right. Yeah, there's no one in the room here from Dominion with us. There's only NRC staff, so we were not having discussions with Dominion when you were on mute. They couldn't hear us, just like you couldn't hear us.
Right.
I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask regarding something the fellow from the NRC said with the environmental impact statement for North Anna. You said something about the data from 2010. Is that your latest collection of data that you're assessing from?
No, ma'am, that's not the latest collection of data that we're assessing from. The Dominion has submitted some additional information that we are looking at. But in terms of an environmental impact statement, the 2010 document is right now the latest that we have published.
Okay. And how have you looked at the water temperatures, like from last summer? I think that's pretty telling that it's not such a good idea. They're about to boil the lake away already, and with the rise in temperatures, it just doesn't seem like such a good idea to install a third reactor to me. Is that a consideration?
We have analyzed and documented water quality in terms of the temperatures. You can find that information in the 2010 document. That is correct.
Okay, and I just found it a little disturbing. I mean, I know words are in talking, it's not that precise, but it seems like a foregone conclusion with the NRA that that when they build the third reactor seems, a little too hopeful. So is it a foregone conclusion, or?
No, ma'am. We have not. The licensing decision has not been made by the NRC. That we would be completing our review before that happens.
Is there an anticipated date that this decision will be made? Because I just think it's a really bad idea myself. No,
ma'am. Currently, there is not a schedule, but we are hoping to have a schedule for that sometime in the near future. But right now, there is not a schedule for that.
Okay. All right.
But stay tuned. That it will be coming soon.
All right.
Okay. Hopefully I won't cut anyone off this time. Is there any other comments or questions by the members of the public for the NRC? Well, thank you very much.
Actually, I do have one more question.
Okay, Erica, go ahead.
If the NRC, well, obviously right now, no new license can move forward under the waste confidence review is not going to be completed until I think they just revised it to October 3rd of 2014. And so obviously the undercurrent of doing all these reviews for Unit 3 are still going on, but I'm still very confused over how we can, in this state of Virginia, start moving forward on legislation that pays for Unit 3. I mean, how is that? I mean, that doesn't work. I mean, we don't even know if that's going to be built. But the NRC has not, like you just said, the NRC has not finished its review. And so how is Dominion moving forward on legislation if no new licensing can go forward? And this reactor, from what I understand, doesn't even exist yet.
You mean, well, yes, of course, the reactor doesn't exist yet because the construction hasn't begun.
We haven't. It isn't even authorized.
Right.
We're not in a position we can comment on what's going on in the legislature in Virginia. We're reviewing a license application. That is one part of what has to happen to build a plant. If we end up issuing a license, there are still a lot of other permits and authorizations that Dominion has to receive to actually build a plant. It's all, there are multiple pieces to this. As far as legislation in the General Assembly, that is an issue that really is not within our boundaries at all. We need to determine whether a plant can be built safely, whether it's, what the environmental impacts of building and operating such a plant would be. But in terms of what is done financially,
Mute off.
legislature in Virginia, that is not within our scope at all.
Okay. Well, I also understand that we have, I think, completed now putting more seismic sensors in our state. And I'm just wondering, as it goes for the COLA for Unit 3, I understand that when Kay was mentioning about these reviews being based on the 2010, documents, when are we going to have the information on seismic studies in relation to moving forward with this COLA 3? Because obviously when we had our 5.8 back in 2011, Dominion had missing seismic sensors and some were not located in proper locations. So we really didn't get a good read on it, unfortunately. So I'm just wondering how the COLA is going to move forward without completed data on the seismic studies.
Well, Erica, just to make sure that you get the right information about that, I'm going to refer you to Shandu for that because I wouldn't have any because of the seismic stuff is being done under the safety review. It would be remiss for me to give you any information about that. But you're familiar with Shandu. I'm sure you have his number. You can call. He may have some updated information for you on that.
Okay.
Regarding future data on the water situation, too, I think it's almost critical now, in my opinion. And if they start fracking around there, which Spotsylvania, Caroline, all of those counties have got leases on them, and they're pushing it real hard, that's going to lower the water table and the available water even more. So I think you have to look at projected water availability as well as the current, records you have for up to this point. So I just don't see it being a good idea at all. And when if these projects go forward and suck down the water table, and the groundwater too will, ground and surface water will be impacted. So you need to look forward and realize there might not be enough water to keep this project going by the time it's built, and which, who knows when that will be, how far along, and it's getting more expensive every day, too. So that's just a consideration.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you for your comment on that.
I have a question.
Okay.
How can NRC even think of granting a permit to the main when the site is on known fault line? How can you consider doing that in the first place?
I'm gonna do just like I explained to Erica that it would be wrong for me to speak to that since that analysis falls under the safety review. And if you I can give you the number for the safety project manager if you would like to speak to him about that.
Yes.
Okay. His phone number is 301-415-3025, His name is Shandu Patel, Patel,
Okay.
and he can give you an update on that, the portion of the NRC's review on that.
Okay.
Okay, so then with that, do we have any other comments or questions? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating today. Tony, are you still on the call?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to end the call now, and
It's only 10:48.
I know hey, I did pretty good on the agenda, right? Thanks a lot, Erica. We'll talk to you guys, everyone later.
Questions? Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh no, can you please give me a recap on those numbers of projections on the energy wattage that y'all mentioned earlier?
You know what, Erica? We're going to be putting out a meeting summary, and I'm going to be sending that to everyone on the mailing list, and that'll spell out exactly what what we talked about, and it'll have everything wrapped up. Would that be adequate for you?
I guess that'll have to do.
I think that'll answer all your questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.